As you're all aware, ladies and gentlemen, the Economic Times has always contributed to the cause of national growth. And the recent developments in the real estate sector are crucial for the development of India and the momentum of the nation. That's the reason therefore for the Economic Times Realty Convention. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the opening remarks, please welcome Business Head, Times Conferences Limited. Please put your hands together for Sunita Quadras.
Firstly, I'd like to welcome all of you here to the Economic Times Realty Convention. It is an honor for me to be here in the midst of visionaries and leaders who continuously strive to create great environments that we all live in, who have also greatly contributed to India's growth story. We are all aware that developments in real estate sector have always been a clear indicator of the health of an economy. Subsequently, any ripples in the market index are also first felt by the sector. Therefore, real estate rode high along with national growth in the past decade. But with the slowdown, the positive exuberance has vanished, leaving the industry to grapple with multiple issues. While the regulatory and funding issues continue to burden this sector, challenges like changing consumer behavior and sustainability have only added to the woes. Currently, when the government and leaders are working aggressively to revamp the economy, it is advisable that we lay emphasis on real estate, which is one of the strongest pillars of economic growth. The Economic Times has been closely associated with the real estate sector. We at ETH continue with this growth story, and we aspire to further developments in this sector through our conferences, which bring together leaders who would share their insights, opinions, and discuss solutions to the biggest challenges that are faced by this sector. I would now like to call upon Mr. Sandeep Somani, JMD HSIL, for the welcome address.
Distinguished guests, participants, organizers, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you, and a pleasure to welcome you all to this year's ET Realty Convention. The significance of the real estate sector cannot be underscored in one speech. There is little doubt real estate is fundamental to our lives. It shoulders a societal responsibility to build functional cities, infrastructure, and occupations. In recent times, global real estate investments have become an opportunity, an important component of efficient global mixed asset portfolios. With real estate reaching saturation point in developed countries, it is only the developing world which offers hope to most of the foreign investments. China and India, of course, are huge because of its underlying population size. We are a country of over a billion, witnessing rapid urbanization, lifestyle changes, demographics, higher income levels, and a constant demand for housing and infrastructure. This is the time to capitalize. Navigating the real estate landscape in India with its diversity is no mean task. It sure is strategic, building a nation always is. The effects of the global economic slowdown are yet to wear off. The environment is still tough for developers and end consumers alike. High borrowing costs, tight liquidity, spiraling interest rate, and uncertainty over project completion and quality are challenges, and we should view it as challenges and not hurdles. The new age consumer is smart, aware, willing to spend for a lifestyle. There is a close correlation between the real estate sector and Hindware. Our consumer audience is our meeting ground. The better we understand their expectation, our collaborative efforts will benefit them, the industry, and no doubt us. Hindware, along with the real estate sector, is also looking to make India a better place to live, create a buzzing society. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
The topic today is quite sensitive, but very important because it's related to the realization or understanding the consumer preferences, consumer expectations and aspirations, mainly from the developer side, the other stakeholder sides, right, architects. So we have more or less all the stakeholders present here, representing different types of stakeholders in the realty sector. So before going into anything detailed about the customer satisfaction, customer aspirations and expectations, let me first throw a very, very blanket question that when a customer enters into any project office, site office for inquiries, what are the different type of expectations and aspirations that generally as a developer we face? So I will try to first ask Surjit if you can give some highlight at a macro level.
I think a customer today, when he steps into buy anything, be it real estate, automobiles, smartphones, I think he's very well aware of what he's getting into. He's probably done his homework. He's searched the websites. He's gone and spoken to his friends, property consultants. So he's very well aware. So the challenge today as marketing and sales people, what we have is we need to be fully abreast to anticipate the kind of questions that the customer is likely to ask. Beyond the obvious, of course, I'm not going to touch upon the obvious questions which he's fully aware about your permissions and areas and the ratios and components and stuff like that. But he also gets into very finer aspects about what he has seen or what he has read, be it pertaining to the amenities, be it pertaining to the life cycle of a project, so on and so forth. So it is indeed a big challenge for all of us today to preempt what the customer is going to ask and be ready with those answers. I think that is the real challenge that we all face.
Okay, so I will try to get into slightly deeper into this, this overall aspect. Say, for example, I'll take up one or two issues. Shrikant, can I ask you on those issues? Like, say, for example, when a customer has come into your office, I think two questions the customer will ask you: that delivery time and what is the chargeable area that I'll be, charged for, the sellable area. So if you can just elaborate that how of late or recent times you are trying to, converge, all these discrepancies into one solution.
To be honest, our customer believes that will be given. So we are in a little bit of a good spot there. Having said that, with our name and our own construction, they do believe that the construction will happen on time and delivery will happen on time. Customers are today, I think Sujit also mentioned this, are more aware what is chargeable, what is not chargeable, what is carpet, and most of them are so evolved they will know the new DCR rules more than many others will know. But the concern remains the same. Will I get the amenities which are promised? Will the actual flat will be like the show flat shown here? Will the finishing be same as it is displayed here? And those concerns remain largely till you deliver the project.
But if I talk from the real estate sector, if I represent the consumer right now, so what is your opinion? Is the realty sector, the developers, majorly are very transparent in these aspects?
Well, I keep saying in most other product purchases, people become happy after buying the product. This is one sector where it's a very evolved purchase, very high cost, many years of their salary, and after buying the product, they are more worried than before buying the product. And the worries start and they remain till it is delivered. On time, on quality, on charges, on changes in specs, on changes in amenity. So as a sector, we don't have a good name, which is for sure.
So is there anything that we can do through a policy regulation or through a overall general system? Vijay, if you can just talk about something on that. Is there any way out that we can ensure the consumer about the quality, the delivery time, whatever discrepancies are there between super built up, super duper built up,
Yeah, I think some of the issues are being addressed by the Real Estate Regulation Act, which the government wants to bring in to bring more transparency in terms of, I think people were worried about carpet area. It essentially says that you have to sell by carpet. Today, I think most of the developers do tell customer what is the carpet, what is the built up, what is the sellable. It's not that the customer is, the developer is hiding that what the carpet area is being given to him. Every square inch is, put on the brochure. But coming to the checks and balances and transparency and what can be done, I found a very good example in UK that there's a NHBC UK, that's a company, National Housing Building Code. Now, there's another, in fact, there are 2 more companies which give project rating. They don't just give project rating the way CRISIL and CARE is giving. But I believe that we have to move beyond project rating and developer rating. So this UK model works on the rating into the entire system. They assure you of a particular standards, quality, checks throughout. They give you a 10-year warranty to the customer. Now, obviously, these guarantees, warranties are built in, but the customer is happy because he's got a 10-year warranty on the product quality that he's getting. So the builder is exposed to various checks during the construction process, which of course he pays to them, and subsequently the customer gets 10-year warranty. And the best part about it is it's non-mandatory. It's self-regulation, but the surprising part, which I found very surprising, 80% of projects in UK are going for these ratings. Now, why would they go for these ratings? Why would I allow somebody to check my plinth and CC, my various levels, RCC, my quality acha hai, kharab hai, and all those things? If the customer is demanding, if the market demands, if I get a better rate, if I get better sales, my selling becomes easier, and if I don't have the rating, it gets very tough for me. So I believe this is the growth path, this is the path that India should look at, rather than, all the regulations, be it RERA, I think will not work, but for the market-driven mechanism. That's what I feel.
Well, and now a very blanket question again about design aspects, Seema and Reza. I'll start with Reza first. So design aspiration, across different customers, types of customers. I mean, is there anything that, of course you look into those things and you work day and night, but can you give some ideas on those things? I mean, how really it works?
Whenever a client comes to us, with a project, I mean, at least myself, what we do is we take his requirements, we see the location of the plot, we see the project, the size, and then what I normally do is I put myself into the end user's shoes.
Okay.
So we see how, if I was the end user, how I would be using the apartment. So I go down to the flat, go into the flat, go into the apartment, go into the complex, see the whole thing, and then we go ahead and design the whole thing.
Seema, one question. I mean, what type of, I would say social planning, you call it? Community planning and, open space planning. How, you really go into and interact with the customers or consumers, or you have those experiences with you and then you start designing those things?
See, if you're doing any project per se, you anyway got your plot size.
Right.
You've got the FSI which you have to consume. So you will obviously give it your best shot. You would
Right.
definitely like to leave a maximum open space, because maximum open space will definitely generate maximum amount of amenities, which in short will definitely service the end user, the customer. See, the customer, when he comes into, is basically interacting with any builder, what he's looking for is, in essence, a good design. Whether you're talking about high end, you're talking about low end, you're talking about medium, any kind of affordability, you're looking for a plan which works.
Right.
Okay? You're looking for a plan which works. You're also looking for building a relationship with that particular builder or this thing, which is somewhat flexible. So whatever that the builder is necessarily offering to the customer, I think they have to have a certain amount of flexibility in what they could offer the person. So I think that is also very important, really, that flexibility issue, which if you can offer the customer, make him feel that much more comfortable, I think that's very important. But if you look at an overall scheme, yes, you would definitely want to provide the customer with as many amenities.
I'll come to Sandeep now. I'm sure that you have also tried to get the aspirations and expectations, because you are a provider, basically a backward integration to the developers, right? So how do you see this, that are the customers today quite satisfied or not satisfied, or how you want to take them along with, say, builders and your fraternity together, because that's the solution.
We have two types of customers as a company. So we deal with the ultimate customer. So if somebody is renovating a home, then he's bypassed all the developers. He's already bought it from a developer a few years, many years, whatever. So now he wants to renovate. He goes fresh into the market. He may still appoint a specifier, depending on what income strata he is or she is.
Okay.
So we have to deal with that customer and that customer's aspirations, which typically are, since it's a renovation, the person wants something better than what he or she has been used to. Better means, in our product category now, aesthetically better, technically better, and preferably environmentally friendly. Then our second customers are the developers, and they give sometimes very, very valuable inputs, both geographically, for their own region there may be a specific requirement, or in general that people want something like this, because they in turn get feedbacks from their customers as to what those customers are desiring. So we have to work with our customers so closely.
Now I'll ask my, this is just to conclude, my developer friends. Again, I'm coming back to those two issues. One is the delivery, completion of the project delivery, and that, what you are being charged for. These two areas, I think most of the pain points are in these two things. Let me start with you. What is the way forward? Is it a regulator or a market mechanism, or how? I mean, how you want to take the customer along with you?
Well, I wouldn't subscribe to the thought that you need some policing or regulatory body, because if you want to be in the game for a long term, if you're not a fly-by-night operator, and if you're a long-term player, you have to develop your equity, and the proof of the pudding lies in eating it. So you may shortchange a customer on a project, but be rest assured then you're creating a legacy which will definitely not help you or take you any further, because you have some negative referencing about that particular project which was done by this project was a disaster. So, and this will again be governed by market dynamics and your own vision, or what horizon does the company have. If it is just a fly-by-night operation, I got X number of square feet to sell, and then I'm going to pack off my bags, then you don't really care. You care two buttons about it.
So what Surjit wants is no policing really.
No, I mean, if it comes up, that's fine. But as a brand and as an organization, I would like to set my own standards,
okay,
and be respected and accepted for that. And that's how I would build my equity, whether a regulator or not a regulator.
Okay.
That doesn't really matter.
See, on the delivery, what has happened is most of the people feel that if a project is delayed, it is the developer who's at fault. So there are a lot of stakeholders like we see in the project. There are ULBs, the urban local bodies, there are banks involved, either financing banks or home loan banks, and electricity boards. In fact, we are in touch with the government on this issue. We are right now representing in the front of the farm, because the bill is already passed from both the houses, and now it lies with the Real Estate Regulation Act. So we are trying to tell them that you can't just hold developer responsible. So even if the bill comes in, we want the entire stakeholders to be made part of it, whose fault it is. Just don't blame us, But at the same time, truly surprised, most of the developers feel that regulation is required. So it's not, the industry feels that regulator is required.
Shrikant.
Part of the reason industry was getting by with these delays is at the end the price keeps going up in India. So when the price keeps going up, the consumer leverage to that extent is less. You can say, okay, take your money and get out.
Which product price goes down?
Not on the land. Nothing in the land in India goes down, because we have too big a population, and maybe there's artificial scarcity, and Mumbai should have an FSI of 10 or 15 or 20. We're stuck with 2.5 or 3 at that best. So that's the first, and both of them are right. There are some things governments have done. Gurgaon, for example, has a 30 or 35% escrow 30% escrow to be going into construction. The new bill talks about a very high 80%.
No, there is a range.
70%.
No, there is a range. It's basically the cost to construct.
Construction,
That's it. It can be 30, it can be 70.
Depending on the construction.
Some of
Depending
those
on,
disciplines are right to come. Having said that, to blame only the developer is also not right.
So thank you very much, gentlemen. I think the panel discussion went off quite well, and very thank you very much for this patience hearing.
To wind up the event, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome the CEO of HDFC Realty. Please put your hands together for Mr. Vikram Goyal.
Representing HDFC and the way we have analyzed our data, and we looked at the various trends and the factors which are coming in. We looked at the data over the last 20 years and we realized that the affordability has gone up. 20 years back, if somebody was to buy a property, it would on an average take about 20 times of your annual income to buy a house. Those things have become much easier. That's one. Tax rebates have been becoming increasingly more viable for people to use home loans as a good, effective tax planning medium. So that has helped bring down the effective cost. A 1/4% here and there, we keep sort of listening to every quarter, every 6 months. But largely, if you look at it, the effective cost of borrowing has gone down. We talk about demographics, which are very positive for a country like India as of now. We talk about urbanization, which is growing, which is where I think our challenges of this entire industry come in. We haven't planned. We have town and planning issues. We had issues of urbanization at a very rapid pace, which the existing cities are not been able to cope up with. The good thing is that there is a regulation which is coming in the industry by various institutions, by MCHIs, by CREDAs of the world, and there are rules being put in. Some of us follow them, some of us still find our ways out, but I think it's the step in the right direction. I think with that, I'll like to conclude the session. Thank you all for listening to us patiently. Thanks.
We are happy that ET came out with this initiative of putting all the players in the real estate industry and the people, the bankers, the suppliers to the real estate industry together on a common platform to discuss issues of mutual concern.
It's a good attempt, but I think it should be more stronger and we should have more from the bureaucrats, so that what happens is they come to know what we are speaking and why we are speaking, or what are the implications of whatever they are sitting in the room and deciding. So what is the end user, what is the, like us as designers, what are the problems that we face?
These type of programs help to share the point of view, not only from the point of view of builders, but the financiers, but also from the regulators or those who govern the municipal corporation or municipalities, etc., who are the people who deal with that particular aspect. And more importantly, international funding agencies also to bring in more and more investments.